Gentlemen, welcome to Loftus and thanks for joining us. Captain and Coach.
John, quite a few changes, and I guess one that just stands out a bit is that Nick Diago really seems to have been playing his best rugby at 8. Just the shift to 6, is that just because you've got no other 6s who are
Yeah, we've got 6s that are injured at the moment, so we looked at the best loose forward mix, and Nick's played 6. So yeah, that's the reason why he's there.
Is there a bit of regret at making that move because Nick has played well at 8?
No, there's no regret at all. It's what's best for the team. Nick is a versatile footballer as well, and I think also Janu's ready to go now that he's fully understands how we go about things and what we expect. So and he's looking a lot sharper. So yeah, so entry for him is important. It creates healthy competition as well. Don't really want players to feel that they have positions by right. They have to earn it, and competition's always healthy.
John, must have been a tough decision between Warwick and Marnie, especially after scoring 3 tries in the previous game. Was there any maybe consideration to give Marnie a go at 11 or 14?
I think the reason why he's in the 22 is the fact that he is confident and he is playing well. But Warwick has also been playing well as well, so he also now knows that somebody's breathing down his neck as well, and there's good healthy competition. In actual fact, Warwick helps him a lot in sort of being a peer coach or a mentor for him, so they've got a good relationship. And Marnie's played international under-20s as a fly half, so covering fullback and fly half, and especially being able to contribute, I guess through injury early, but in the last sort of 30 to 20 minutes of the match, he'll be a bit of a handful.
And the change at front row with the 2 props.
Yeah, Lizo's got to be managed. He's carrying a couple of niggles. Pierre comes back as a result of his management plan, so he's nice and fresh and ready to go. And Matthias has had exceptional training metrics in the last 2 weeks, so he's been rewarded because of that, and his work rate. And also, I want to give him hope as well. He hasn't had a start in the campaign, so it's important to see what he can do from a starting position.
John, I assume your buy was used quite productively regarding some of the niggles and stuff that you had to work out, taking into consideration your long list of injuries as well.
Yeah, I mean it's important to manage everyone. So by week we looked after guys who had a lot of game load. We had to reintroduce guys like Burger as well, coming back from their management plan, and there was a consistent group of guys that also trained the entire or the complete process, and in some ways also rewarded them because they had some exceptional numbers last week as a squad. So I think it's important to get the players to recognise that it's what we do in our preparation, and it's important that you give guys hope as a result, and also reward as a result of the work that they're putting in.
How happy are you with your conditioning at the moment?
Yeah, no, we're working on a plan. I have a methodology. We're early into that, and we're already showing huge signs and growth in that area. So once every athlete completes about 4 or 5 weeks of it in a row, then they'll become a lot stronger, a lot more robust. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of athletes that have got some physical limitations, and they haven't had the chance to experience the methodology yet. But when they all do, then we'll prosper as a club.
John,
your feelings going back to Ellis Park for the first time as the opposition coach, the visiting coach?
Yeah, I got asked that question the other day. I really haven't thought about it too much. I mean, I feel that I'm a professional coach. I think they've set the benchmark, and it's important that that we have a team in the country that does set the benchmark. And we're in the chasing group, and ultimately, down the track we look to surpass that. But they deserve where they're at, and because they've set a benchmark, then that is motivating for us. as a group. Yeah, there's some really good friends there as well that I've kept in touch with for, ever since being there and since leaving there. That will always remain, but ultimately, I probably won't even think about that when I go there. It's a wonderful ground to play at, I must admit. So, it's not really something that comes into my thinking.
John, does this then become the most important game of your campaign at the moment? Because you spoke last time about how important it's going to be to make sure that you win away from home.
Yeah, we've got to pick up away points. I wouldn't put it down as the most important game of my career. Every game's important, so I don't distinguish any other game from. So I'm not sure how you label that. But
I'm saying in terms of the campaign and where you guys are.
We've got to pick up away points. There's no doubt about that, and we're into a big week of 3, I guess. Or big 3 weeks of 3. So we've got some big games coming up.
Burger, John's mentioned about the Lions being the benchmark in the country. As players, do you guys feel that compared to the last couple of years, maybe the shoe is slightly on a different foot this weekend because, they're the side under pressure, you're well ahead of them on the log, that sort of thing? Is there a slightly different sort of vibe going into this game?
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a great challenge this weekend, and we want to test ourselves against the best players. So, I think the Lions have a good team, and, it's going to be a good challenge for us to keep going forward in the Currie Cup.
John, are you worried? It's getting quite a few changes. Are you worried about continuity?
Got no choice, because ultimately that is my goal, is to create continuity, but also this is also a development competition as well, and so it's important that I see everyone play. So I'm not, as much as I want my teams to win, I'm not driven by outcome, one way or the other. I'll stick to the process, and I'll make sure that I develop a squad that's got depth. And ultimately, at the moment, we've got some injuries, and it's becoming clearer for me. Should I put it in a right way? It's becoming clearer for me who's more reliable than others, and ultimately, that is. I'm probably a couple of weeks away. If I get the right people out, getting closer to who that group will be. But we might not see it in Currie Cup because, as you know, we can't control injuries or the return of the athlete.
John, our bigger blow is losing a guy like Jumba. He's out now for the rest of the season, and
well, you never like to lose a teammate, but we've got other good young wingers in the club as well. So again, you just can't lose sleep over situations that you can't control. So it just doesn't stress me. Seriously, at the end of the day, I'll put the next best player in and give him an opportunity. Jumba's now got to go and rehab a patella tendon and get right for Super Rugby. So that's the course of that sometimes athletes have to take.
Satisfied that Duncan and Smartley have understood the frailties of.
You were given them another opportunity. Yeah. Other wingers have been given opportunities as well, so more than what they've been given. So they've now been given another opportunity. They've worked on some things since the last performance. So it's a big opportunity for them to see whether they've actually learned quickly from the last performance.
John, there's a game happening on the other side of the ditch.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
In some suburb where there will be plenty of prize, north of Auckland. Your thoughts on Springboks All Blacks, and do you feel as if that's that sort of comeback, that aura about the Springbok All Black test has sort of got him back to where it used to be?
I think we're seeing a fairly average rugby championship, to be totally fair. I think sides are in transition, or all sides are in transition 2 years out from a World Cup. Can't say that rugby on the weekend was very exciting by both test matches. I think the Boks need to be careful about kicking away possession, but clearly that's obviously a plan under Brendan Venter's style from exit football. The All Blacks will gamble, kick counter a lot better than what Australia did. All Blacks also look vulnerable as well in certain aspects, but knowing it's the old foe, I'm sure they'll come in with a different focus. So yeah, if I think the box over kick through pressure and give the All Blacks freedom and kick counter, you'll see a different All Black side. But yeah, I think the box have got to, if they've got an opportunity, it's in this Test match, and the Lions prove that if you can, slow down the All Blacks, delivery at lineouts, and settle them. Eden Park you can win at Eden Park, but no one's done it since 1994. So it's not an easy place to win, especially if it's pouring down.
They're playing Albany, so.
Are they playing in Albany?
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting. That's not the greatest of venues in the world.
Yeah.
So to put it mildly. I think the Springboks might be more excited playing there than the All Blacks.
And more South Africans there.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, do you feel that the Test series against the Lions took something out of the All Blacks, that they maybe had such a big focus on the Lions that they struggled to regroup in a way?
I think mentally and physically it has been a challenging year because it is such a draining Test series. But if you look at the All Blacks' legacy, is that they have such great history, and when you put that jersey on, you do not want to let down the predecessors of the past. It's that kind of community. So whoever gets the chance to represent the All Blacks, collectively they will bind because they understand the physicality of the Springboks, and they also will understand how much the Springboks have improved. But for me, Elton looks like he's still stifled under the Springboks exit plan. So for me, you'll still probably see more of the kick. I hope it's more from 9 this week, and creating contestable stuff on the All Blacks versus the 10 kick down the channel. Because I think if they kick through 10 deep, then that'll just feed the All Blacks. But if they contest once they're slowed down from 9, McKenzie is a brave outside back, but he's tiny, so if you can bring him forward. Nini Milskada's also not a tall outside back, so I'm not sure whether he's been selected yet. So when they used to have Dag, Smith, and who's the other bloke? Ione, is it? They're tall, very tall catching wingers, and they were selected, I think, for the British Lions series because of that contestable kick. Now, if I was a box, I'd be tactically smart in that area and attack their small men.
Do you think Pollard is match fit, given that he's on the bench?
Well, I really can't answer that. But what Polly did was when he came in here, he trained 2 days with us, didn't he, Bergs, before he went to Australia, and he kept up with the high intensity training that we do, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So he just proved that if he is given minutes, he'll handle the pace of the Test match. But like anyone coming back, you're always a little bit rusty. Get your second breath, and he'll be fine.
John, are you happy with the Bulls players in the Bok team and how they're looking?
Yeah, they look like they're enjoying themselves. They look like they've trimmed down a little bit as well, which is good to see. I say that in the nicest way. It's good to see Lewitt get excited after a big scrum under the post the other day. Actually, I think I saw him go down with an injury. I sort of had my heart in my throat there at one point because I thought he'd hurt himself. They're looking good. Jesse's obviously enjoying it as well. Jan's playing really good football. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.